I believe we are all good. Hello, hello, Justin. Welcome in. How is the day going? Your eyes hurt. What happened? Oh, you're on page 8. I see. I see. $2 straight? Yeah, that can be rough. No argument here. My recommendation when it's like that is obviously, taking a break from the screen. But when your eyes are bloodshot and hurting, if you take some paper towels, soak them in water, make sure it's clean. Like if your tap water is hard water, don't use that. But if you have good clean tap, soak a paper towel in it, fold it over, and a cool wet cloth over your eyes will help it a lot. Uh, like a lot. And also making sure that your computer is set to have like its harsh lights off in settings helps a lot too. Those are both pretty helpful things if you are on your computer like all the time. Second, responding to a message. There we go. Well, the brightness setting isn't quite as big a deal as the harsh light setting, but yeah. Do you have like a home kind of filter, like one of those portable ones? I tend to always have those if I don't trust the tap. Nope, that sucks. Well, I mean, an option could potentially be like having a short walk where you can get your eyes off the computer, maybe pop by station, get something for the eyes. I'm not gonna like say it's worth the trip necessarily, but a cold compress really does help. But it definitely sounds like a break from the computer and the assignment are in order. That's gonna be a helpful thing for you. I see. Well, understandable. If possible, maybe have something for next time, but I fully get it, and I get bloodshot eyes. Oh, trust me. I've had times where I finished an essay where I was like 4 or 5 hours straight into it, and I just basically stopped, stood up, blinked, and then it was just pain. Like all pain. Yeah, I get it. Those aren't hyphens. Fair. Gotcha. That sucks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have early carpal tunnel. I do all sorts of stuff to help myself. I do habitual hand stretches um, to try to help, flexing my fingers backwards, rotating my wrists, etc. I wear I wear wrist wraps whenever I'm on the computer, medium grade light ones, and I have ergonomic keyboard and mouse pads for it to help mitigate, because I basically spend my life on the computer. Like, more than half of my life, my day, is usually on or near a computer. So I am the kind of person who hopes that we get to a time period of cybernetics before I'm out, like safe cybernetics, and I can just swap out my wrists, because I abuse them by being a computer fanatic lifestyle type thing. Hello, hello, Macy Paw. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Thank you for the follow. Aw, thank you, Macy. How's your romance novel going, by the way? What am I working on? Oh, you have a messy first draft? Nice. Getting into the rewrite stage is always a fun-ish time. You have to look back over your work and judge it, but on the flip side, it has that nice, awesome feeling of accomplishment that comes with like, hey, I got this section done. Actually have the idea hashed out, which is a really nice feeling. For this, okay, so the story is I'm eventually gonna make like a video on it, like full-on face live video, not avatar or anything, and I'm gonna explain it. But in short, I've been streaming on Twitch for over 2 years. I have a YouTube channel that's been around for more than 2 years. I made it during my time at Berea College, and I started working on, and you can see it referenced and homaged in my avatar, Tales of the Ambassador. And what I did was I wrote out chapters and did some edits, and then I would put them on YouTube. The plan for this was to just put them out, not really market myself, and it would be a kind of practice for myself in putting anything out on YouTube, publishing my work, and starting to like try to take my writing more seriously. My first few videos were really, really, really bad. The videos that came after that were just bad. They weren't as anywhere near as bad as the first few, but I started to understand like how to edit, how to make my videos, how to approach it, like how to use my softwares, all of that after the first couple of videos. I started getting a better feel for the voice acting narration I was doing. All that. And it was gonna be fine, right? Except there happened to be a miscommunication. And this is not on them. I am still nothing but grateful. But one of my inspirations to make this human fuck yeah, HFY story was a content creator by the name of Agro Squirrel, who did just narrations. They weren't like writing it, but they did narrations of HFY's sci-fi on YouTube. And I really enjoyed listening into them. And because all they did was narrate over stories, I reached a point where I got kind of like to a point where my chapters didn't feel too bad. And I reached out to them and I asked, like, would you be interested in using my story for your narration? Just to kind of like help myself get some exposure and also kind of see like if he thought it would be worth narrating. That was my intention, for him to like narrate. Here was the miscommunication. He thought I was talking about a feature or a collab, and he asked for one of my videos. Now at the time, I'm not a content creator. I've made 3-4 videos. I do not know what I'm doing. He asked for a video. I didn't really understand why he wanted the video and not the doc file, but I'm like, sure, cool. If you want to watch the video to hear it, or just see what kind of content, I figured it was kind of like seeing how I approach my content, like what kind of creator I was, maybe. So he asked for it and I gave it. No, he wasn't asking for it to read over the chapter or to see what kind of content creator I was. He was asking for it so he could put it up on his channel. And so he did put it up on his channel. And I went from having like 10 subscribers to like 400 subscribers in a few days. Yeah, I am now at 1190 subscribers. Yeah, but this was the big thing. This is what really kind of cascaded all of it. seeing growth, being a novice content creator, not wanting to waste his generosity, not wanting to not capitalize on it, I doubled down. I didn't know what I was doing, but I doubled down. I put in a bunch more time to make chapters at a pace that was somewhat solid. Like, I was releasing maybe like 2 pages worth of edited story, like written, edited, revised, narrated, edited narration, and then posted. Like 1 to 2 pages every like 1 to 2 weeks for like a month and a half. While on a break. So like I wasn't studying at the time, it was a break between semesters, and I pumped it out. Yeah. And then, classes started. I couldn't keep that up. And it just kept getting longer and longer, and I kept trying to keep pace with it. And I wasn't even really sure what I was doing with the story, because I was trying to get the chapters done more than I was really thinking of world building. Hello and welcome, Shakespeare Cat. Welcome in, and thank you for the follow. I hope you're having an amazing day. Yeah, and I basically really content creator wise burned myself out. I wasn't familiar with content pressure. I wasn't familiar with how to feel. Yeah. Hello and welcome, Vast and friends. Thank you for coming in. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's give a shout out and warm welcome to Vast Asynchronicity.
Fucking excuse me, are we not friends?
An awesome friend. And
parasocial online friends, but yes.
And the author of Mimic.
You are innocent.
You should
right?
check out their channel, find a link to Mimic, and then give yourselves a good read.
I trust you.
If you are interested.
So you trust me too, okay? It's a deal.
But yeah, long story short, Macy, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to make content anymore. I took a very long break from YouTube. About 2 years. I was off YouTube. And I just watched the numbers somehow keep growing. Which somehow just made it worse for me, because my writing was not worth content growth or community growth, in my opinion. And I just kind of let it sit as I focused on Twitch and live streaming. And I did it as a hobby. I almost stopped Twitch because I started focusing on growth rather than enjoyment. And I dialed back to just streaming whenever I felt like it. And that was very infrequent, and I obviously had no growth from it. But I did grow as a creator. I learned how to work my models. I learned how to approach quality streams, the equipment I needed, the way to approach my streams. And eventually I reached a healthy point with it, because I didn't want to give up streaming. I've made so many friends and connections that I really value through my Twitch and the other people I met. So I found a balance with it. I kept to it, and eventually here I am. Over 2 years on Twitch, maybe 3 years on YouTube, starting to blow dust off the cover and clean up the cobwebs as I revisit the projects I did in the past. And approach my platform on my terms. In a way I can actually do it. So here I am. And this is the horrible premise of Tales of the Ambassador. And I say horrible because literally I had no idea where I was going with this. Like, either by allies or as mercenaries. I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out when I get there in the story. What's our advantage? Physical strength, sapient AIs, toxins, intuitive sensed warfare. Why? I don't know. I had so little I knew what I wanted to do with the story. It was like the embodiment of pantsing. Also, the terrible novelist, thank you for coming in, for chatting, and for the follow. Happy to see you, and I hope that clown book goes really well. You sleep well, stay awesome, and have a great day. Night. Yeah. Words. So, yeah, Tales of the Ambassador. Hang on, let me try something. See if I can't bring this up. Yeah, I started breaking it up by chapters. That's right. I must have put... Alright, here's first contact. 2. Does this have all of it? Is it down to... Yes, okay. This actually does. I did compile it. Okay. So, not including the edits, the rewrites, or anything else. This is all like, quote-unquote, reaching final draft. There is 64 pages of Times New Roman 12 font, single spacing, pretty much. And that comes to, Control Shift. Yep, word count. To 25,000 words for, the Tales of the Ambassador series. 25,000 words on what I worked and put out. It was a fair amount. Got a doggo? Alright. You have a great one, Vast. Enjoy time with Artie and have a great time. Thank you for raiding. Yeah, no, I put a lot. I had no idea where I was gonna take it. Oh my word, looking back, I had like 4 plots I was working on in the story. Because I was trying to like mix in, I was trying to have like a plot for every character, but I didn't have an overarching plot. So it became a hodgepodge of mixes, and I wound up writing myself, or I wound up feeling like I wrote myself into a corner. And the prose was like fine, I guess. Middle to late Tales of the Ambassador. But it was just, I was not happy with it at all. I was actually growing to hate the story near the end, and I knew I needed to stop because I was hating the story. But time and hindsight, I want to actually kind of look back and see if I can actually do it justice. Like, I put so much time into this story, Um, I feel like it deserves me to at least try to see if I can carry it to the end. I feel like I more than made problems. I feel like I ruined the story personally. Voidbrats! Hello, welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for the follow. How was your day today? Premise. What kind of story tone do I want? HFY. Write this largely under a rule and having a fun time story. Don't overcomplicate and think. And when stuck, think of what a 40K setting might have. When stuck, think of 40K setting orcs. That will definitely keep it locked into the rule of cool. I will check that after stream, Justin. Alright, let's see. That'll be theme premise / tone premise. I think premise is actually more specific. We'll just go theme / tone. Premise. The ambassador story was meant to be aliens encounter and have their perspectives changed by meeting humanity. The original premise of this story was meant to be a HFY tale, an HFY event where you see all of the insanity of humanity written from the perspective that includes aliens. A huge part of my initial idea for this was writing out the shock value, not of like, oh, I punched through this giant monster looking thing like the Martian Man movie, but rather having the HFY stories and elements and characters, but occasionally having chapters where you are seeing it from the other side, and you have ones you don't root for and ones you do root for, but on both sides you are seeing this unstoppable force that you have to try to figure out how to interact and deal with. Almost like thinking of how writing a chapter for guardsmen fighting chaos marines feels like. You're seeing something coming at you and it's almost impervious to everything you do, but you have to stand and fight anyway. And I was envisioning the scenes and chapters of the struggle and even occasionally triumph against these human forces, or just the mind-numbing awe of them being this like angel of death. I didn't even know of Warhammer 40k at this point, but this is very much like Warhammer 40k, the angels of death feeling, where guardsmen look up and they just see these war beings enter the fray like bulldozers. And I was on this big HFY binge, and that was the entire inspiration for it. Having a mix of story and a mix of like diplomacy and aspects of it that got humanity into it naturally, but that was meant to be the story. That was meant to be the HFY core of the tale. But I got super caught up on the first contact, on how to make it believable, because I go deep into my world building. And I made all of these facets for the world, like how people lived, what kind of technology they had. And I wasn't anywhere near good at writing like show don't tell at the time. Like I was okay at writing, but not like writing it out so that it just is part of the scene in the new technology shown. Like you don't have to explain it because it's just there. And I never actually left the first contact. We were still in the first contact 25,000 words in. But it was supposed to be a story about the conflicts. But I think I can approach it now almost from like a short story format, where it's not just one thing back to back to back. Like it can have a segment referencing the first contact lightly, and then like the next short story segment could be a part of the battle. It doesn't need all the context, because the premise shouldn't be about it for the story. The premise should be about the pages and prose and setting. Like the conflicts and the imagery were the basis for this story. And I tried to make it into something more complicated than it was, and I killed it. I tried to turn Warhammer 40k orcs into some sort of high writing. Let's see. Yeah, that was what it was meant to be. It was really meant to be that kind of rush, adrenaline joy of reading that I got from the HFY stories. That made me laugh and feel energetic when I was exhausted during COVID in college. I was on a huge binge and I loved it, so I wanted to write it. And I tried to turn it into some sort of high writing when it was just meant to be fun. Let's fix that. Execution. Do it in non-linear short stories. Take each point and setting I want to express and have it localized. Let the world build as I create it by keeping it only tangentially. Some chapters or short stories or shorts can be entirely text or explanation. Others no. Others romance or conflict or diplomacy. Let them stand strong through the separate. Keep the focus each one's individual goals. I think that will help me not fall into the pitfalls I did the first time. The world is meant for fun. All right, now short story ideas. There should be a heading 2 for organization. And under here, I should have first some more notes and story breakdown. Actually, story breakdown. Yep, that works best. Heading 2. Yep, that'll be good. Okay. All right. Let's make this back to Times New Roman 14. First contact is too big of a segment. It would be a reference if I go for it. Let's go with humanities first boarding slash the galaxy's introduction to human borders. Oh, I can take that so many different ways. Also, thank you for chatting, Macy. I really appreciate it and you hanging out. I've enjoyed chatting with you. a lot. Nice. I'm glad it did, ATM. I have such a gremlin laugh. It's it's kind of funny. Oh, happy to. Quote, a criticism on human ships. Let's actually change that to emphasize the criticism. Justin, you are fine. You are doing university work and you're resting. You're totally fine. And you never have to feel obligated to chat. Let's see. An interview with the room. That could be an idea. Arun is the head of the sapient AI, which I plan on keeping. It was one of the storylines that was basically a story and plot of its own outright and had no business trying to be interwoven in the thing at the present. But how do we even shorten this? Arun and the biosynths are a sentient AI, really more of a synthetic being, where AI was evolved carefully by a creating construct that was there to isolate, localize, basically a supercomputer to locally build the sapient AI, dubbed Hephaestus. And they went through all these trials and errors and things to secretly build a living AI that isn't tied to the internet, but rather has its own synthetic brain. It has emotions and neural connections and really in-depth, like, yes, the concept has been done before, but the execution was meant to be very, very grounded in that it had, using the knowledge of cybernetics, very much a synthetic body that grew and healed and mended on its own like a living being. It wouldn't die of old age, and it's not possible to have, and it's not capable of super intelligence, but higher than average intelligence. And it can function and assist people by thinking in parallel. So rather than being able to do and grasp concepts like 8 times more complicated, so to speak, it could do, rather than being a prodigy, so to speak, it could be like 8 A+ students at the same time. It could do what a group could do, but it doesn't surpass human limitations. in its entirety. It is an advisor of sorts for humanity, is what the biosense were supposed to be. Their evolution was designed for them to feel the deepest joy seeing the improvement and betterment of people. They are an altruistic species that lives and feels and is synthetic. That's not to say they're incapable of violence, but it brings them no joy. Like, it physically cannot bring them joy, the same way like a psychopath can't feel emotions. It is not in them to find anything of value or joy or pride in conflict. They are capable of it if it is absolutely necessary, but it is naturally their last resort. And I'm not even really sure at what point or why I thought of them to put into the story, but I love the concept too much to let go. And I wanted to find a way to include them. And they are the biosense. And Arun is, I believe, Hindi for New Horizons. That's another idea. One. Something is wrong with the hive. The human. No. I found the cure. Yes, this was what I wanted to write for ages. Human is contaminated by a hive spore and is turning after taking out ship. Crew. Unwilling to risk contagion. They stay on board and ask only to be allowed to drink themselves. Now let's have it this. Hive spores during a boarding action by the hive, where they counter-boarded, wiped out the ship's crew. expecting. Before there in time. Implants. Detect. Turning. Cells. To sleep. That will keep it in mind. Have a nice night, Macy Paw. Sleep well, and as always, stay awesome. Alright, that's 4 ideas. It's 56 minutes in. Let's try to come up with one more idea and then call it. We'll round it out at 5. The Phoenix Project. That'll help you remember the thought. Alright. Yeah, that is a concept I want to delve into further. That one came up a while back. Alright. Let's go with the heading 2, SS. We can type it out. Short story 1. Nah, we're gonna do this a lot. SS1. That'll do. Bring it down, Times New Roman. I really wish I could just tell it to do this by default. I've yet to find a way. Yep. Not bad. Maybe about taking out the spaces, a page and a half. All right, let's see who's on. I know just who to raid. Okay. So, it is time to end the stream. We have a couple of raid messages. We have raid messages for follows. For followers, rather. Those should work, period. They are using global emotes. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And that looks like this. Justin, I noticed that last time you tried to use the subscriber emote and it didn't, the subscriber raid message, and it didn't work for you last time. Did you re-unlock the emote? Was it unlocked yesterday? Like, I want to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I want you to be able to use it properly, because you're supposed to be able to use it properly. That's not at all fair for you for it to not work. So I just want to make sure I can troubleshoot that for people to use. This is the subscriber emote raid message. It is, as Justin has just been able to put it, something that can be used. All you have to do is go down to the channel points and buy it. I have set it as cheap as I can through Twitch at 80 points. Hopefully it'll work this time for Justin. I see them able to use it, so hopefully. All right, and today we're going to be raiding Coffee Quills. They are a rather chill writing streamer. And let's go and give them a warm raid. Thank you all so very much for coming in. I always appreciate it. Have a great day, happy time zone, and stay awesome.